In this video, we are going to find phenotypic and genotypic ratios among progeny in a dihybrid cross of pea plant by following Folk-Lyon method. In the first half of the video, we will find phenotypic ratio, and in the second half, we will find genotypic ratio by using this simple method. Let's see how easily we can write these phenotypic combinations. This is a cross in pea plant. In this cross, we are studying two traits. 1. Shape of the seed, round and wrinkled, and 2. Color of the seed, yellow and green. The genes for these two traits are independently assorted. That means they are non-linked genes. This is the same cross given in NCERT textbook. In the textbook, they used Punnett square to find the genotypes and phenotypes of F2 generation. We are going to find the same phenotypes and genotypes by using Folk-Lyon method. I selected the familiar example so that you can learn this method easily. If you know monohybrid crosses, learning Folk-Lyon method is very easy. Let's start writing the cross. A pure breeding plant grown from round yellow seed is crossed with another plant grown from wrinkled green seed. These parent plants produce gametes. The fusion of these gametes produces F1 generation. All seeds of F1 generation have round yellow phenotype and the genotype is heterozygous in condition. A plant of this round yellow seed is self-pollinated. The repetition of the same information is to represent self-pollination. Due to this self-pollination, F2 generation is formed. That means this F1 plant is the parent plant of F2 generation. Now we are going to find the phenotypes of the seeds in F2 generation. If you want to learn Folk-Lyon method clearly, please write this cross on a paper along with me. While writing Folk-Lyon method, we separate these two traits and write them as monohybrid crosses. Round into round and this yellow into yellow. If you know the monohybrid cross phenotypic ratio already, you need not write it. But let me write this one here. This is the progeny of the monohybrid cross. It is actually progeny of F2 generation. We got the ratio of 3 round is to 1 wrinkled. We consider these phenotypes and the ratio and write here. The ratio 3 is to 1 can also be written in the form of 3 by 4 is to 1 by 4. This means out of all the seeds formed here, about 3/4 of them are round in shape and 1/4 of them are wrinkled. Now let's consider the second trait, yellow into yellow. In this cross, the offspring formed here belong to F2 generation. Here also the phenotypic ratio is 3 yellow is to 1 green. Let's consider this and write here. In the ratio of 3 is to 1, that means 3 by 4 is to 1 by 4. This means if a seed inherits round shape, it may inherit yellow cotyledon or a round seed may inherit green cotyledon. We are actually writing the possible combinations of phenotypes here. Likewise, a wrinkled seed may also inherit yellow cotyledon or green cotyledon. Let's write these two traits together as in dihybrid cross, which is round yellow. What is the probability of formation of these round yellow seeds? To know that, we are going to multiply the individual probabilities. Actually, the occurrence of round shape in a seed is independent to the occurrence of yellow color. So these two are independent events. How do we know that these are independent events? Because these two traits in pea plant were studied by Gregor John Mendel and he observed that the shape of the seed and color of cotyledon are assorted independently. Sometimes these independent events occur together like this. So this becomes a simultaneous event. To know the probability of a simultaneous event, we follow the multiplication rule in probability and multiply the probabilities of these independent events, which is 3 by 4 round into 3 by 4 yellow. So that is, the probability of round yellow seeds is 9 by 16. Likewise, round green seeds are formed at a probability of 3 by 4 into 1 by 4. So 3 by 16. Wrinkled yellow seeds are formed at a probability of 3 by 16. Wrinkled green seeds are formed at a probability of 1 by 4 into 1 by 4, 1 by 16. So these are 4 different phenotypic combinations possibly formed in F2 generation, and the ratio is 9:3:3:1. Let's write this ratio again clearly. So 9 round yellows is to 3 round green is to 3 wrinkled yellow is to 1 wrinkled green. This is the same F1 plant which was self-pollinated. Consider the first trait round into round and look at the monohybrid cross. This is F2 progeny and the genotypic ratio here is 1:2:1. Observe here that there are 3 possible genotypes, whereas the phenotypes were only 2. Okay, take these genotypes and write here. Now consider the second trait yellow into yellow. Here also the genotypic ratio is 1:2:1. Write these possible genotypes. A seed which inherits capital R in its genotype may inherit capital Y or capital Y or small y. These are possible combinations. Likewise, there can be possible combinations for capital R also and small r. Now let's write both of these together to know the F2 genotypes. Capital R, capital Y. Their probability is 1/4 into 1/4, 1/16. Observe the remaining genotypic combinations. See here, this is heterozygous and this is also heterozygous. That's why the probability here is 4/16. Okay, the next one. So these are possible genotypic combinations in F2 generation and these are their probabilities. Let's write the genotypic ratio now. These first 3, observe these first 3 combinations with capital R, 1:2:1. The next one. Capital R, small r combinations, 2:4:2, this one. And the last one. Small r combinations, 1:2:1, this one. So this is the genotypic ratio of offspring formed in F2 generation. Now let's compare the genotypes and phenotypes we got in F2 generation. Observe only this column. It's like a monohybrid cross because we consider a single trait here. The number of possible genotypes formed are 3. But when we want to find the phenotypes for the same cross, the number of possible phenotypes formed are only 2. As only 2 types of phenotypes formed in every monohybrid cross, the total number of phenotypic combinations in F2 generation are 4. And here, the total number of genotypic combinations in F2 generation are 9. So for any cross, if you want to follow Folk-Lyon method, you should be carefully observing their parental genotypes and you should know for sure that the 2 genes which you are studying are not linked with each other. Now that you know the phenotypic and genotypic ratios, let's work out some problems. Please read this question once. We have to find out the probability of formation of a heterozygous genotype in F2 generation. And the parental plants are round yellow into wrinkled green. This is the same cross we have seen all through this video. So the F1 generation plant is self-pollinated. And in F2 generation, we know that 9 different genotypic combinations are possible. But we want to find out the probability of only this genotype. Let's look at our genotypic ratios. Capital R, small r, capital Y, small y occurs at a probability of 4/16. But every time you get some question like this, you need not write the entire cross. Instead, if you know the monohybrid cross ratios, you can easily guess the probability. Capital R, small r in monohybrid cross occurs at a probability of 2/4. Similarly, this also occurs at a probability of 2/4. So, according to the multiplication rule in probability, this capital R, small r, capital Y, small y occurs at a probability of 4/16. Now, in the same cross, let's look at one more question. Previously, you have to find out the probability of the seed. But now we have to find the number of seeds formed in F2 generation with this genotype. So to know that, we already know the probability. Take the total number of seeds formed, and the number of seeds formed in F2 generation with this genotype are 255. For the same questions, let's see what's the probability of this genotype. Capital R, small r, capital Y, capital Y. Capital R, small r occurs at a probability of 2 by 4 and capital Y occurs at a probability of 1 by 4. So its simultaneous occurrence is 2 by 16. When you want to find the number of seeds formed with this genotype, 2 by 16 into 1020. Okay, let's see one last example. Here, this is also same cross. Here we have to find the probability of formation of wrinkled yellow seeds. Previously, we found the probability of occurrence of genotypes. Now we will find the phenotype. Same parents. The plant of F1 generation is self-pollinated. Now we should find the probability of formation of wrinkled yellow seeds. So let's look at the phenotypic ratio we have seen. Wrinkled yellow seeds occur at a probability of 3 by 16. That's the answer. Or instead of writing the entire cross, you know the wrinkled seeds occur at a probability of 1 by 4 and yellow color occurs at a probability of 3 by 4. So the total probability is 3 by 16. If you like taking up challenges, try to write this cross in forked line method. These traits also belong to pea plant. A tall pea plant with purple flowers is crossed with a dwarf pea plant with white flowers. So you should write this cross up to F2 generation and find the phenotypes, genotypes and their ratios. If you want to cross-check its answer, please follow the link in the description for another video. Thank you for watching and happy learning.